Start her up.
Everybody all set?
Yep.
All right, before I open the meeting, if you would put your cell phones on silence, and please note that this meeting is being recorded. All right, I would like to open up the meeting of the Woburn Conservation Commission. It is July 24th, 2025. And first on the agenda, we have a delay of the opening for Felix Ramos First Road, an RDA house addition, and we've been asked to delay it to August 21st, 2025.
I would move that we reschedule the public hearing to our August 21st meeting, and this is due to notice to abutter issues.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, moving on, we have Mr. Moradati, 7 Crossman Road, notice of intent, EP number, not dollars, 248-0886, for an in-ground pool, patio, and shed. I also see a hot tub and 2 decks. There was a site walk, so before I have you do your presentation, I'd just like to hear a quick briefing on the site walk, seeing how I was not there.
Yeah, the site walk was just to, again, refamiliarize ourselves with the property and, to check out that slope that had been grassed and make sure everything, and it looked fine.
Okay. So, with that stated, if you would sign in and state your name for our note taker.
Okay, good evening. Mark Slager from Allen Engineering, here on behalf of the applicant. You may recall this past spring, this lot was the subject of a request for a certificate of compliance, which the commission did grant. Subsequent to that, the lot was sold and the new owners would like to put in a new in-ground pool in this location with a hot tub here, all surrounded by a concrete patio. This is the existing house. There's an existing patio here. They would also like to continue the existing patio, which is brick pavers, underneath the existing deck, which is currently crushed stone. And they were going to remove the stone and put in the pavers just to have it all match. Along with that, they would like to build a couple of decks. You recall there's a fairly sizable retaining wall along here, and there's a lower portion of the yard down here that's all lawn. So they figured they could put a deck here and then some steps and then down to a lower deck and then some more steps so they could utilize the lawn area. And then also put in a shed down here for yard equipment. You may recall that this whole area is within a drainage easement for the maintenance of the existing stormwater system. And as part of the certificate of compliance for this lot, the new owners had to sign an agreement saying that they would be responsible for maintaining the stormwater system as shown on the plan. So any encroachments within the easement, which they're allowed as long as they don't interfere with the function and the ability to maintain the system, the easement does allow for structures, temporary structures and whatnot in that area. So we're proposing a shed and then some decking. And the owners are aware that if certain maintenance needs to be happening to the drainage system, then they are certainly willing to make whatever accommodations to the shed and the decking to facilitate those modifications. So we're here to request an order of conditions for these site improvements. Be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions from the commission?
I have a couple. So you said temporary structures are allowed. So a shed and a deck are considered temporary structures?
Well, like, not necessarily temporary, but non-permanent in a way that, such that they could be removed if they had to, as opposed to a full foundation. So something like this, a shed, it's going to be on a couple of blocks. If they have to, move it to access a pipe, they could certainly do that with some light equipment. The decking is certainly something that could be, removed. I've removed decking before on my house and rebuilt it, so things like that, they don't necessarily interfere with the function of the system, but if a pipe needs to get replaced for whatever reason, then they could certainly remove the deck and work around the deck or whatever they need to.
Right. So, is that easement ever going to be conferred to the city, or is some of it now city-owned?
It's not city-owned, it's all owned by the owner of Lot 3. The maintenance of that system is going to be responsibility of a homeowners association, which right now consists of only number 7 Crossman, Lot 3, number 7. Ultimately, when Crossman Road is accepted, the city will not retain ownership of or responsibility for the stormwater management system. They'll only be responsible for what's in the roadway itself, which is 2 catch basins.
So the city's never been and never will be responsible for what's on the property?
They will only be responsible if they determine that there's been neglect on the part of the homeowners association, and it starts to interfere with the performance in the system such that it impacts the street or any of the in the wetlands and whatnot. So they do have oversight responsibility just to make sure it is properly maintained. I believe when the roadway is conveyed, they may want a conveyance of the easement so that if necessary, they would have the ability to go in and make any repairs and then, back charge the homeowners association.
Yeah, see, that's my problem with the deck especially, is that I know we've had other sites where the DPW superintendent didn't want fences going over any easements, so I think to me, this is a little bit more substantial than a fence.
It is. It's definitely more substantial than a fence, but it's not within a city easement. It's primarily within the responsibility of the owner of the lot right now.
Right now, until the street,
And forever, in perpetuity, it's going to be the responsibility of the homeowners association. That may end up only being number 7.
Chairman, if I may. Mark, I'm a little familiar with the drainage easements, but isn't one part of it is that they need to have access to if they need to back a truck down there?
Yeah. And
And
there's
I know-
inspection ports.
We're proposing a wrought iron fence. You don't think that's gonna get in the way? And I mean, with the deck on that second level, I think that may be impede.
No, there's sufficient area to access. There's an easement here for access
Yeah.
down the lot line, and you can see the 2 retaining walls here.
Okay,
This fence is existing,
okay,
so that it's there now. You probably saw it when you had the site walk.
yeah.
And they'll just have an opening in the fence and then down here. There's
the-
certainly enough room to get around the steps and around the deck to access whatever they need to. There's mechanisms to go down there. If they needed to flush this line, they could certainly do it from this manhole. They could do it from this manhole. And then you can see the inspection ports on the system that are easily accessible.
So if they had to do clean out, so you're saying they can get around to that manhole 4
Yes,
around the deck?
yeah, they'll be able to get around that. Even if they get the truck here, the hoses are long enough to reach the manhole and then flush it back this way. Or if they want to flush the system out that way. There's plenty of room. I did have a conversation with with Mr. Salvati, the city's attorney. He was actually the person who drafted the easement when he was in private practice, and I discussed it with him, and he didn't see any issues with it, but that's just between, Mark and I that had the conversation. I don't think he reached out to anyone on the commission.
Has anyone talked to Mr. Duran?
I haven't discussed this with Mr. Duran because on other systems, he really doesn't pay any attention to these because it's not part of his responsibility at this point.
See, again, that's the part that gets me, and not his responsibility at this point, but sometime in the future, it could be, right? So
At some point in the future, if the city wants to take over responsibility of it, they could make the owner remove the deck and the shed to facilitate their their maintenance and responsibility of the system. And that would be part of something that would have to be addressed at that time. But at this time, the city has, or Jay Duran has no interest in maintaining these systems or any other system.
So we could maybe put that in an order of conditions, right?
Sure, yeah.
But he's responsible if there's negligence on the maintenance and it causes a problem that they do have to get involved, so then DPW is responsible for that.
Yeah, the owners would be aware that, if there is maintenance, the deck and the shed would have to be relocated, temporarily relocated, at their own expense.
I've got just a couple of quick questions. On the brick pavers that you're adding, I believe it was under the deck, is that going to drain similar to what the crushed stone's doing? I'm assuming it's pervious, the brick
Yeah.
pavers.
I mean, all of the soil in this area is all sand, so,
Drain's okay.
yeah, it's gonna drain right through. And any runoff from this patio area, it's gonna seep into the ground right away. There's a crushed stone area behind on the uphill side of the retaining wall, so it'll filter down through that. Some of it might bleed through the wall, but then it'll be collected into this drainage system through a yard drain that's at the surface.
Right, and then the corner of the shed looks like it's sitting over an underground pipe. The weight of that's not going to cause any issues?
No, the weight of the shed is minuscule. These pipes are designed to be under the roadway, which is
And,
acceptable to motor.
and then for the deck, it's, that goes over the same drainage pipe, how high up over the ground is the deck? Or is it at
That
ground
area might be around 5 feet.
And then one last thing, on the, when they're responsible for the maintenance, either the association or just a single lot owner currently, do they required to give, I'm assuming, some notice to the city or our commission for when maintenance is done?
I believe there's a reporting requirement. That's part of the definitive subdivision approval. And I believe in the roadway order of conditions is with a certificate of compliance, there was a condition that was to remain in perpetuity
So it's in the
regarding the maintenance
original
system.
condition. Okay, thank you.
I had a couple of comments, and they kind of echo what's been said. The lower deck, you said is going to be 4 or 5 feet off the ground?
Something like that, yeah. It depends on how many stairs they get from the upper deck to the lower deck.
Okay, so that kind of alleviates one of my issues, but there's all kinds of room. Can't the shed go somewhere else so it's not sitting almost on the tanks themselves and it's not on the pipe?
Well, I wanted to leave a few feet between the wall and the shed so they can get in and, maintain it, like cleaning it or painting it or whatever. But I didn't want to put it out in the middle of the grassed area either. And then I have I could slide it over here a little bit more. I just wanted to keep it away from that slope as well. But I could slide it over if the commission would prefer.
I think that would alleviate at least that issue, because if you did have to get under the deck's gonna have to be moved. And that's not an easy task. If you need to get to the pipe that's under that lower deck, and it's 4 or 5 feet off the ground, that pipe's accessible.
You're talking about this deck over here?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know of where else we could put the deck.
Well, no, if it's 4 or 5 feet up,
Yeah.
then that, for me, takes care of that problem, because you could still get to that pipe.
Right.
The other thing that I didn't see, and I haven't heard yet, pool drainage and backwash, where is that all gonna go?
When I spoke to them, they said they had a self-contained system that doesn't generate any backwash, but if there is, we'll tell them to put in a dry well, which would probably go, up in this location. I did ask them about it, but they said it was a self-contained system that doesn't generate any backwash.
My other concern, and only because of what's been going on lately with all the heavy rain, if the pool isn't covered and we get 2 inches, 3 inches of water, is that gonna overflow the pool?
Usually it wouldn't be any worse than if it was, all pavement. It would overflow, but it wouldn't overflow at any rate greater than what the rain is falling at. Usually,
The pool has got chemicals in it. It's gonna have chlorine or whatever they use to keep the pool clean. Concerned that could get into the resource area.
it would infiltrate into the ground, and, chlorine does dissipate fairly quickly once it gets into the ground.
That was it for me. Anybody else have any comments or questions?
Mr. Chairman, to Mark, I have just a couple of questions. I just want to pull the thread a little bit on the operation and maintenance plan. You say that that operation and maintenance plan is in place? Has it been made available to the commission?
It has been made available, yeah. It was submitted as part of, I believe, it was definitely submitted as part of the original order, notice of intent for the roadway and for this lot. And I think a follow-up copy was submitted with the request for a certificate of compliance.
So is there going to be any update into it based on the new project, this new work that's being performed? Is that going to be updated, or is it?
It really doesn't affect the maintenance of the stormwater system.
So the other question I have is, so right now it's the homeowner or the homeowners association that's responsible for the operation, the maintenance of the stormwater system. And they're also responsible for some type of monitoring of that system, I would imagine, to say that it's working correctly.
Right.
Does that report go out to either the commission or the city, so that you know how well that system is functioning, in the event that we do need to have city intervention into that particular property in that drainage easement?
Yeah.
Is it?
I believe it's supposed to be submitted to engineering and DPW, possibly the Conservation Commission, but I could certainly make that a commitment as well.
Okay.
I don't know if they've hired anyone yet, but they did mention that they'd like to have me do the annual monitoring of it.
All right, great. Okay, that's what I had. Thanks.
Anybody else? Yes?
Yeah, just to follow up on what Commissioner Joyce was asking, do you know when the next inspection or first inspection of the system is due?
Oh, probably this fall.
Okay,
I believe the reports have to be submitted by the end of every year.
okay. Thank you. Also, a couple of questions, just kind of following up on what some of the commission members kind of talked about. With the lower deck, the shed, I think you said, would just be on blocks, so no foundation for that. The lower deck, is there a foundation for that? And that will need to be done, obviously, in a way that doesn't interfere with the drain line. So is there like a plan just to, or,
It's not really a foundation. They could put that on blocks the same way.
Okay.
They're standard blocks that you can get at Lowe's or Home Depot.
okay, and this, same with the stairs, there isn't a need to sink a
Yeah,
foundation
the
or anything
stairs
for
will
that?
actually, there'll be, maybe a small concrete pad at the bottom for the stringers to sit on, just like
Okay.
a standard.
Okay, so
stairway.
just that, like, the placement of that would need, if the commission approves it, that would need to be carefully placed so it doesn't interfere with the drain line.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then, one just note, and which doesn't really impact this particular filing, but in the notice of intent, I know you referred to the previous FEMA map, so just to let, just kind of a heads up to you that the current maps are July,
July 8th, right.
yes, 2025, so just for future filings and future reference, to reference that date. Also, there's the no disturb zone out in the field. Is that marked in any way? Are there any boundaries or markers to,
The no disturb zone,
yes,
oh, the 25-foot?
yes.
It's really not delineated in the field. It's quite a ways down the slope in most cases. As you can remember from the site walk, you've got the lawn area and then it drops off sharply. I
So-
think that's enough of a barrier. Nobody's gonna wanna go down there anyway and do anything. but-
Okay, I'm also concerned with like future owners potentially of the property as well, so if the commission wanted some type of fencing or signage or some other,
There's plenty of trees we could put signs on, if that's something
or
you
just like a
could-
post with the sign or something like that, just,
Yeah,
okay.
either a post or, a lot of times we just put them right on the trees.
Well, we don't really like things nailed to living trees, so we'd like,
Okay.
we'd like to avoid that if we can.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I think that you've answered my questions. I share some of the concerns that the commission members have brought up. Thank you.
Yep.
Anybody else from the commission have any questions or comments?
Just one quick, on that deck again, in relation to what Teresa had mentioned, if those pavers or bricks that, your blocks that you were talking about to put the deck on, doesn't some of that need to be in the ground, or do you have to do any digging for that decking?
Typically they'll scrape away the loam and any subsoil, backfill it with gravel.
But you don't have to go down like to the frost line?
No, it doesn't, a deck doesn't require the 4 feet, especially one like this where it's freestanding.
Okay.
It's not attached to a house.
Because obviously if there was any digging, they'd have to make sure they knew exactly where the pipes were. That's-
Yeah, any fill left over from any of this work is gonna be trucked off-site.
Thank you.
Anybody else? This is a public hearing. If there's anybody in the audience that would like to speak on the matter. Seeing none, bring it back to the commission, one last opportunity. Is everybody okay with the plan as is, or do you want to see the shed moved off of that pipe? And the reason I'm asking, I guess it would make the difference as to whether we suggest a continuance or we actually close out tonight. Any,
I think if the shed can be moved off, that shed couldn't it be like kind of kitty cornered? Not square to the wall, if it was just turned a little to the right and get it off the pipe?
I can probably slide it over to get it off the pipe. There's a 12-foot side setback, I believe, to the lot line. And what may work would be a condition, in the order of conditions, requiring a plan be amended to move the deck, if that's possible.
Move the shed?
Move the shed, yeah.
In order to keep it moving, closed.
The shed will be moved off the pipe?
Yeah.
Teresa, is that?
I defer to the commission as to whether or not the commission is comfortable with the structures in the area below. I think original feeling of the commission when the house was built was that nothing was going to go down there but the subsurface basin. So I defer to the commission on that. If the commission is comfortable with that and wants to see things moved so that they're off the pipe, I mean, that does make sense to me that they would be off the pipe. I don't know if the commission would want to have any kind of a condition that no further structures or impervious surface go down below. Just wondering, like with the shed there, if the next thing would be like, oh, we want to put a walkway in, or we want to, connect it to the stairs in some other way. I know that's not what's being proposed right now, but just to be clear about what the commission's intent is, so that sometime in the future, somebody doesn't come back and say, oh, well, we anticipated that we'd be able to do X, Y, or Z. I just think it should be clear now if that's where the commission is at. So I'm kind of looking to the commission for your feelings on those matters.
Mark, the deck past the steps, on over the pipe there, what if that deck was moved past the pipe? Would there be more stairs to go down to it, or is that how that would work?
I think one possibility would be to move this deck further out over the wall so that the pipe goes between the two decks and underneath the stairs. I don't know if that's going to gain much, because you'll still have an issue with the stairs over the pipe.
Yeah, I don't think it gains that much.
Oh, no, and I'm concerned if you move it out now, you can't get a truck around it.
Yeah, you don't want to go much further to the,
Well, I think a condition that if the city were to ever take over that easement, that if the DPW's desired that that deck be removed, then that would have to be done.
I'm comfortable with that as well, the deck and the shed at their expense.
Right, yep.
Can, just one more follow-up on the access, if truck access is needed, like kind of on the left side of the house, is there enough room just on this lot, or would it also have to go onto a little bit of the lot next door?
It would have to go onto the adjacent lot, and there's an easement to accommodate that.
Okay, and is that easement, recorded? Do you know what the status is of that?
Yes.
Yes, you know the status, or yes, you know it's recorded,
The
sorry.
easement is recorded. It's actually registered with the land court.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
So the commission is okay with the plan as is, and knowing that if any work needs to be done, it's going to be done at the cost of the association?
the shed being moved.
Everybody's okay with that?
I am.
Yeah, I'm okay with
Okay. So with that said, is it your request that we close the public hearing?
Yes, it is.
And before the commission makes a motion or anything on that, the next meeting of the commission is beyond the 21 days. Would you consent to additional time to issue the order of conditions?
I don't see how I have any choice, but yes.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we close the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? And thank you for the extension.
Okay, thank you.
Good luck.
All right. Moving on. We have Tony Jones. Locus is 55 Winter Street. Notice of intent, DP number 348-0887. This is for a house addition and a deck. I believe there was also a site walk, so if somebody that was on the site walk would just give a quick report.
Yeah, so Steve and myself and Jim went out, checked out the backyard, checked out, there was some yard waste and some miscellaneous rubbish that needs to be removed. Not a lot, but the applicant said that they would have that done when the project got underway. And that was it as far as the site walk went.
We also received some comments from DP, and the technical comment says, riverfront area should be shown on the plan. BVW should be field delineated. So I don't know if those have been done, but those were suggestions from DP.
Yeah, those were suggestions from DEP. I don't know necessarily a requirement. For the purposes of what we're trying to do here, the proposed addition, let me back up a little bit. For the record, I'm Mark Slager from Allen Engineering, here on behalf of Tony Jones. The proposed addition is going to be in place of the deck, so the work that we're proposing is actually further away from any wetland line. You know, this is the 100-foot buffer here, and this is the 25-foot no disturb from the wetland line on the FEMA, on the GIS. Even if the wetland line were up here, I don't see how that would impact what we're trying to do here, which would be to remove the existing addition and build a larger addition, and then a small deck over here. The only work that's closer to the wetland would be removing the existing deck that's right here. So as far as delineating the wetland, I think that would be, in my opinion, it would be up to the approval authority, which is the commission. With respect to the riverfront, this is all piped right here, so the riverfront would actually start where the river is, and if you go square out from the edge of the riverfront area, either the 100 or 200 isn't even on the lot. So if you want a plan showing that, I think, you know, that's just going to delay things at least a month and a half, with the next meeting being over 21 days. And it's really not going to have any effect at all. It's clearly the work is outside the riverfront, and it's well away from any wetlands. During the site walk, I think if there were any wetlands, you know, encroaching into the yard, the members that were out there probably would have noticed it. You know, and the topography is such that the wetland is several feet below the backyard area.
Can I just follow up with the riverfront question and the pipe? How long is the pipe?
Oh, let's see. It goes here, and then there's another pipe coming over from the drainage system over here, and then there's a 24-inch pipe that goes across the road into the reservoir that's on the other side of the road, so it's well over 200 feet.
That was thank you.
Yeah. And on the other upper end of the culvert is not a river, it's a pond.
Thank you.
Any questions from the commission?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of had the feeling, I was okay with it until I saw the comments. I guess I'm still okay with it. I think you might be running the risk of, I don't know if there would be an appeal from, you know, DEP, because we didn't follow, I guess, their guidance as to what should be on a plan. I guess that's the risk you're taking.
Yeah, I believe that's a risk. You know, in the commissions, I don't want to tell the commission how to do their job, but I think one of the findings you could make is that any more accurate delineation wouldn't have any significant impact on the project, based on your field inspections of the site.
Yeah, and maybe even bolster that by not confirming the wetland that was actually shown.
Right. I mean, normally we would have the wetlands flagged if there was going to be an issue, if we were proposing work 30 feet from the wetland or something like that. We would want it delineated and surveyed. But where it's so far away from the lot itself and where we're working, the proposed work is, maybe 85 feet from the wetland as shown. If the wetland were 30 feet closer, we're still over 50 feet away.
Yeah, and I agree. I'm pretty comfortable. I thought it was pretty straightforward too, and I'm not sure why they're asking for that. It's not even on the property. So I don't know why they would want something that's not on the property. It's not on, in any of the, there's no impact, zero impact. I agree with you.
Yeah.
But, it'd be you rolling the dice. So, and I'm okay with it.
Yeah, just in the same vein of questioning on this, is the entire lot currently grass? Is it maintained lawn? To the rear lot line?
The rear lot line, there is some shrubs along the back. I think there's a small portion in here that's not maintained.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions from the commission? Hearing none, this is a public hearing. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak on the matter? None? Bring it back to the commission. One last opportunity to have questions or comments.
Yeah, just one quick one. Mark, is there going to be any material, is there going to be a foundation or anything? Are we going to need to stockpile, or is anything going to be removed from the site?
Any
nothing's gonna
excess
be-
fill will be removed from the site. They're not proposing to change any grading.
Okay, thanks.
Everybody okay with what's in front of us? Knowing that you do have a risk, is it your request that we close the public hearing?
Before
It is.
before we do, I just
And an
want to see if I can
extension.
get one more statement. Are all of the wetlands, bordering vegetated wetlands, located off this property?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay.
So is it your request that we close the public hearing?
Yes, it is.
And
With an
same
extension.
request for extension in time.
Yes.
Thank you.
Chairman, I move that we close the public hearing.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Perfect.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda, we have Woburn Council of Social Concern, locus is 2 Merrimack Street, notice 10 DP number 348-0888, playground and drainage upgrades. Again, we had a site walk I was not able to make. Jerry, you want to do a quick reference to what happened on the site walk?
Yeah, it was Jim and Steve and I as well for that one. We just walked the property, saw where the riverfront was, where the river is. Noticed that there was a basin that hasn't been maintained, that I believe is part of this project, is to clear that basin out and keep it maintained in the future. And that was pretty much it. As far
Okay,
as-
great. And also, we had comments from DP, and the technical comments were project is not exempt from stormwater management requirements. Applicant should submit checklist for stormwater report in accordance with stormwater management standards.
Good evening.
Has that been done?
Yes, it has. As of yesterday morning, we have submitted the checklist to DEP.
Terrific. So if you would state your name for our note taker and sign in, that would be great.
My name is Neil Sander. I am the president of Independence Engineering, and I'm the engineer of record for this application. I'm afraid we're going to have to go old school with my display. As you can see behind me, if anybody needs me to move it to take a look at it, but I think you should all have copies.
I just wonder if anybody in the audience would be interested in seeing that. We could prop it up somewhere. If anybody's able to see, are you able to see that? Do you?
No, I was gonna say the front seat.
Okay.
Does that bench slide down?
Council of Social Concern of Woburn is looking at replacing their existing playground behind the building. The original playground was constructed in the early 2000s. Some of the equipment is becoming defunct, a little on the unsafe side and shabby. However, the entire playground is located within the 100-foot riparian buffer zone. So we were recommended to this board, or to this commission, to get your approval to do the work within the riparian zone. Essentially, we are taking an old playground and replacing it. We're not changing the footprint of the impervious area. What is currently rubber mulch will be more of a rubber hard surface. The functionality of the area will remain the same, but we will also be replacing the fence, which is partly vinyl, partly chain link, with a full 7-foot vinyl fence. In addition, currently the playground area drains partially to the creek and partially to the basin that Mr. Lones mentioned before. We will be regrading that area to install drainage infrastructure to make sure all stormwater is directed to the existing basin. I know there's concern about the state of the basin. Just in the last few days, the maintenance crew at the council has gone and cleaned out the entire basin of underbrush. And I have photographs if anybody would like to take a look, but it is a functional stormwater basin. My understanding is that as of this week, the last comment that we were waiting on from DEP was to submit a stormwater checklist. As I mentioned, this is 5,000 square feet of impervious area now, 5,000 square feet of impervious area when we're done, with the added benefit of all drainage going to the basin. So there's no additional quantity or quality management required in order to meet the stormwater standards.
Any questions?
So I'm going over the checklist for the stormwater, like, there was no box checked in standard 2, no box checked standard 3, no box checked for standard 4, and so on. Is there any reason why those boxes weren't checked?
It is technically a redevelopment where we're only required to meet in full standards 1, 8, 9, and 10. Because we're not increasing, the impervious cover, we don't need to provide any additional retention. But we are not adding any illicit discharges. There is an operation and maintenance plan currently in place from the original construction that's in 2002. I think the physical checking of the boxes was probably just an oversight prior to submission.
And you sent this report to DEP?
Yes.
Okay. Again, I guess you could, if they weren't satisfied with this report and we were to close the public hearing, you run the risk of an appeal. And that could set the project back quite a bit. Like, I'm wondering, the operation and maintenance plan, and then the last one, the illicit discharge, an illicit discharge compliance statement is attached, and it isn't, but it will be, upon any groundwork. Is that something that you'd be thinking about doing, I guess?
I can't guarantee what's underground when they start,
Well,
regrading.
there would be no illicit discharges.
Oh, correct. Yes.
Right.
Certainly, any illicit discharges that are found during construction will be removed also.
Yeah, I really, again, I didn't have any issues with the project until I saw the comments, so, if you guys want to go forward with it, I'm okay with it.
I didn't have any issues either. It seemed pretty straightforward, and I like the fact that we're improving some of the stormwater too, so I'm good.
Any other comments from the commission?
Pretty much the same as was stated.
Again, this is a public hearing. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak? Please step up and sign in and state your name for our recorder.
Hello, good evening. My name is David Busnault. I live at 19 East Nickel Street, right behind this project. And I would just like to say, as far as you guys went there and you seen the retention pond and the trees and everything there, they have a history. I've lived there for 39 years, first at 21 East Nickel Street, now 19. And there's a history of they will only clean something up when pressed, when their back's against it. They actually had heavy equipment in there today to clean out that pond because it was so overgrown. If you drive by there now, the grass out front is a foot high. So I don't have any faith that they're gonna maintain this basin properly going forward, because they haven't shown that over the past 20 years. And also what I don't know if you guys realize is when you walk that property, that daycare, that playground is in people's backyards. We share backyards with these folks. And for the previous 18, 19 years, when Dean Solomon was running the place, there was an agreement where the kids went in at 4:15, and the neighbors had peace and quiet. So when the new ownership, new regime took over, they said they don't have to honor any past agreement with the neighborhood or anything like that. And now the kids are out there till 5:30. And I want to sit in my kitchen, and there's a beautiful day this week, have the kitchen window open and make dinner at 4:30 and sit down, and there's kids screaming through my window. The same thing with my parents, who are now retired, and now we want to make the playground bigger, and, we're going to expand the hours. Is there hours to this or anything? It's just, their motto, you go to the website, you look, and you see their banner, it says neighbors helping neighbors. I would like them to help their neighbors in their backyard, the neighbors that abut them. There's a couple of folks that couldn't be here today that also feel the same way. Unfortunately, the time of year, people are on vacation. But my father feels the same way, and like I say, I have no faith that they're going to maintain the basin properly, because they haven't in the past. You've seen how overgrown it was. And they're really just poor neighbors. They're poor neighbors. They don't respect what we had for 20 years. They just say we don't have to. The First Amendment does go both ways. I could go out there and scream and whatever, and people think I'm crazy, and it's disrespectful, so I don't. It's went from 16 hours a week of screaming to now it's 22 hours. And, it degrades people's quality of life. Like I say, there's retired folks in the neighborhood. The kids are out there till 5:30. I go to work at 5 o'clock. 5:30 to me is 7:30 at night. That's my bedtime. But
Dave, if I could just interrupt you for a second.
sorry, I don't
appreciate,
wanna rant.
and I empathize with you as far as the noise goes. Probably bothering me as well, but it's really not
Okay.
up to us to deal with the noise. I hope that in the future, if this gets through
Well,
us.
there was, the city council before, when it was first built, was more understanding than they are now. Obviously, there's people on the council, on the board of directors there, so it's, it's hard to fight City Hall that way. But speaking back to the drainage issue and everything like that, I don't know how you hold them accountable, but like you said, they had heavy equipment, a crane in there to get the things out. There were trees 10 feet high in that pond, so.
We can have them,
I would hope you would hold them accountable to maintain the place, not just do it every time, they want to go before the council. It's convenient it was clean today because they want something, but as soon as it's done, we're going to sit there for another 10 years and the trees are going to grow again and they won't maintain it.
Yeah,
Thank you
and-
very much.
can I just say, if you see that, like, we can have it in our order of conditions that they
Yeah.
send us the reports, maintenance reports, and hopefully that gets done. But there's so many sites that we have to kind of monitor.
No,
So
no, I
you
understand.
as a homeowner in the area could if you see that basin filling up again.
Oh,
make sure
definitely,
you
I will.
Make a call.
I wish I had known that sooner, I would have made a call sooner, but thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Anybody else in the audience that would
Excuse-
like to speak?
So, Mr. Chairman, is there any way that the applicant can respond to some of the gentleman's concerns, or I'm curious if there is any
Certainly.
response to that?
Well, I think there's generally two primary concerns that you raised. One would be the condition of the stormwater basin, and one being the noise. This is our opportunity to, ameliorate the noise significantly by adding a 7-foot vinyl fence all the way around the playground. I do agree. Yes. Currently, half of it is chain length, which doesn't do anything to cut down on the noise. Adding that vinyl fence will be a great benefit to you. As far as the maintenance of the stormwater basin goes, as you saw, and as you said, we had a hearing coming up, they went out and they took care of it. They do have certain obligations under the original maintenance agreement. The new regime with the council, a little more aggressive about maintaining their property. If something comes up that they don't do it properly, I would advise calling the town. Personally, I would go to them first, but you do have the right to complain to the city.
I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Back to the commission. Any last comments or questions?
Mr. Chairman, to the applicant, so I do have a question that goes on something similar to the previous hearing. The operation and maintenance plan. I think I heard you say that when this operation and maintenance plan went in, it was 2002,
Yes,
so now it's 2025, so
Yes.
it's been 23 years.
yes.
And hearing what a resident is saying, it almost sounds as though that perhaps that operation and maintenance plan hasn't been followed quite as it was written. Is that fair?
I think that's a fair assessment.
Okay. Would it be in not only the social concerns best interest, but residents' best interest, certainly the commission's best interest, that operation and maintenance plan is took a look at that again, and see if, considering the project, you're going to be making improvements, there are going to be some things that are a little bit different. Maybe it's time to update that operation and maintenance plan, bring it up to 2025, and address some of these other concerns perhaps. But I'm very concerned about the fact that once you get going, you've cleaned out the basin today, everything is working, but 6 months, a year, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, we start to slip back into it's not being maintained. I'd like to see some provisions put in that can perhaps ward that off, make that a little bit more systemic, that you can, it'll always work the way you want it to work, that plan is in place, there's checks and balances with it, there's monitoring system that's with it. I'd like to see that.
Well, I can't
So you
guarantee it's
consider taking that
always
into
going to work the way we
consideration.
want it to work, but we can certainly propose to maintain it in such a way that it will work the way it's intended, or at least consistent with standard engineering practice.
Sure.
Giant rock gets stuck in the drainage pipe.
But I would say that considering what I'm hearing is that perhaps it hasn't been maintained in the way that it was originally intended to be maintained. And somehow, we can't let that happen. I mean, we can't walk away tonight with this great maintenance plan in place and everything's cleaned up, only to have we slip back into, a previous state, if you will, and now you're back to where you were. That's my comment.
Thank you.
And I'd like to, if I could, follow up on what Commissioner Joyce just said. I think absolutely take a look at the current operation and maintenance plan, make sure it is up to date with the current stormwater management standards. And if it is, then submit that plan to the commission. And if it isn't and it needs to be tweaked, then submit, a revised plan to the commission for their review.
Okay.
Which also should include, like, information about inspection and reporting requirements and,
Periodicity of inspections and
exactly, thank you.
remedial acts.
Just in terms of what was done in the basin, I know there was a lot of invasive species out there, like, were things just cut, or were they pulled out of the ground? I mean, I'd like to actually have a look at what was done out there.
Sure.
So, I mean, I would like to go back myself and
Okay.
and inspect it. Like,
I can give you a
if
preview.
everything was just cut to the ground, like trees of heaven and locust trees and whatever, they're just going to sucker out, and they'll be 10 feet before you know it. So maybe it would be a good idea to actually pull some of these invasive species right out of the ground.
Okay.
And I don't know if that's what took place or not.
If I may, I'd actually like to defer that question to my client.
If you would, sign in and state your name for the record.
Marshall White with White Builders. So as far as the drainage base is concerned, what it's been right now is it's been clear cut. They were had a tree crew out there for getting rid of a diseased tree anyway. So while they had the equipment there, used the opportunity to get rid of all the brush. Assuming we move forward with the playground, we have to remove the fence to do some other work, and that allows us to get some equipment back in there to do exactly what you talked about, pull out some of the stumps and bigger things so they don't grow back. And that's the intent, sort of get us back to baseline. And since I'm up here, as far as maintaining the basin is concerned, the current executive director of the council has been there since 2022, and she inherited a building and site that no one had maintained. So she has been trying to get the roof replaced, replace, broken plumbing and electrical systems. So she's doing her best to get caught up and get back on good footing when it comes to maintaining the property, both inside and out. So, I do have confidence that going forward, it'll be better maintained than it was in the past.
So you're saying the plan is to, if the project is approved, when the fence comes down, you're going to get some machinery in there to pull stumps out?
Correct.
I would think we could condition that.
Yeah.
Any other comments or questions?
Yeah, just one other question. So on that, when you're removing trees, that's one thing. If you're removing invasive species, I'd be interested in knowing what types of methods you're using to remove those invasive species. And if you're using any sort of herbicides, well, I'd be very interested in knowing what those are, and I'd actually like to see a plan for how those herbicides are going to be, what herbicides are going to be used, and how they're going to be applied, because it would make a big, first of all, it makes a big difference from just an overall health perspective, especially when you have children. But the second part of it is that we don't want to be indiscriminately spraying herbicides or any of that anywhere out there to clear invasive species.
Right.
We want to do it the right way, selectively. We want to make sure everything is applied correctly.
Right. So, our plan as of right now is to not use any herbicides, given the proximity to Hall Brook and obviously the kids nearby. It's going to be maintained primarily through mechanical means. We're going to pull out plants that are there now, and as part of the maintenance routine, I think what has been discussed is the property gets mowed every other week or something like that, so nothing should be able to take hold or, at that sort of regular interval, we should be able to maintain it without any sort of chemicals.
Thank you.
Yep.
Just to piggyback on that, so you're saying that you would have somebody in there weekly mowing that basin. If they
Yeah,
can
I
get,
mean-
if they can get in there, if there's not water in there.
Right, right. And, you know, you're not going to get in there with a lawnmower. It's a basin, but yeah, you know, weed trimmer, whatever it takes to keep it
Right,
clear.
okay. Thank you.
Anybody else? Anybody feel we have enough information, and the information that's being asked we can handle in the order of conditions?
Commission want to see the operation and maintenance plan.
I would like to.
Yeah, I think we
Definitely
should,
would like to.
I think we should get that, the operation and maintenance plan. So, that's what we're looking for, and we don't have it. So, we can't condition it to get it, you know, we'd have to continue the public hearing.
Okay. Yes, we'd like to request a continuance.
I also would suggest that when you're submitting that, also submit the illicit discharge compliance statement as well.
Yes.
So knowing that the commission is looking for additional information, is it your request that we continue the public hearing to August 21st, 2025?
Yes, please.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we continue the public hearing to August 21st, 2025.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, moving on. We have Massport, locus is 100 Atlantic Ave, notice of intent, DP number 348-0885 for parking lot improvements, and this is continued from 2025.
But I'll be there if you need me. Do you mind? I'm missing.
Good evening. This is Mary Lando from Massport Environmental. So we attended the June 26th hearing as continuing proposed work tonight for maintaining the condition of the parking lot at the Anderson Regional Transportation Center in order to maintain the Superfund cap, which is part of an EPA agreement. So we did go back and look at some further stormwater treatment features and their feasibility. So we'd like to present that tonight, as well as some further details about the existing condition. So we do have our HNTB team here, who will be presenting. We have Jeff Watson, Ali Matson, Will Schriefer, and Carly Barron.
Good evening. Watton, HNTB Drainage and Utilities. So, previous hearing, commission requested that we take another look and see if there's any stormwater control measures that could feasibly be implemented on this site to provide some sort of enhancement through stormwater runoff. So we've done that. We also really wanted to elaborate on and show the extant documentation on this project. So the primary. Oh, sorry. Yes. Our primary objective on this project is, of course, the geotextile cap. So we need to make every effort that we can to not disturb the cap with the measures that we're proposing here in reopening the Superfund site. There was also some inquiry at the last hearing about the geotextile cap itself and what sort of depths we were dealing with on this project. So we'll take a look at that and why it created a a challenge to implement something like deep sump catch basins. This graphic here in front of us, we're presenting the record property limit for this project site. In green, you can see the existing sedimentation structure that we inspected on our site visit last month. Previously, I showed you guys a graphic of the existing drainage network on this project site, where all the runoff's being collected by closed system drainage and ultimately discharging into this sedimentation structure. However, upon record parcel research, it appears that the sedimentation structure itself is outside of the property limit for this site and outside of scope for the project's EPA-owned property. One of the things we had discussed was potentially some sort of retrofit or modification to extend the treatment capabilities of that sedimentation structure, and or looking at the landscaped area out here to see if there was any sedimentation or control measure that we could implement in this area. But we're basically limited by this property, sense of our property line here, unfortunately. This is a graphic that exhibits the depth of the geotextile cap on this project site. This graphic was developed using record data contours of the geotextile cap in comparison to finished grade elevations. So this heat map, generally warmer colors are showing shallower depth of the cap, and cooler colors, deeper depths. So predominantly, on average, the cap is, it varies across the site, but we're, dealing with probably anywhere from 2 to 6 feet on average to depth. Hence, why there weren't deep sump catch basins installed and why it's not really a feasible option for us to install them now without disturbing the cap. There were some areas, you can see the existing drainage network. Following that, the cap tends to be at a deeper depth, in particular on the southern side. You can see that, we got a teal, blue, and purple range of depth there. At its deepest in that area, the cap is about 10.5 feet. However, it's basically been designed to accommodate the existing drainage network. I can tell you the drainage inverts there in that region are about 7.5 to 8 feet below grade. So we did look at this area to see if it was feasible to implement something on the order of a oil water separator. But generally speaking, in addition to the depth of the existing drainage, those types of treatments have an additional vertical depth requirement on the order of 3.5 to 4 feet to allow for settlement. So we were unable to make that work in that area. Additionally, and just it's worth noting, through that corridor, there's other utilities being run, so it's not only vertical limitations, but also horizontal. So, does anyone have any questions on this graphic before I go forward? Or any comments?
The only question I had, as you were talking about, so you were limited to what you could do with that sediment basin because it's not on your site?
Correct.
So who maintains that, who maintains that basin? Is it Massport that maintains it? Even though it's not on the site?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want to elaborate on the?
Sorry, my name is Chet Myers. I'm Deputy Director for Project Implementation Capital Programs, Massport. Massport does have an obligation to maintain the sedimentation basin, but what we don't have is the ability to actually make changes outside the footprint of the site, and I think that was the only point that we were trying to make.
Right, okay, yeah, thank you.
With all that in mind, we did develop this stormwater treatment alternatives matrix to look at our options with our limitations in mind and try to determine if anything could be implemented to provide some sort of runoff and treatment enhancement. As I discussed, oil grit separators vertically we're limited in what can actually be installed, implemented on this project because of the Superfund cap. In addition to that, the standard oil grit separator is limited in the amount of impervious runoff area that it can effectively treat. So these would need to be in multiple locations to gain any sort of effective treatment, so it's not something we can throw in at the end of the line. Even if we could, it's off the property limits. So similar situation with proprietary separators. They kind of allow you the ability to manage more acreage of runoff with one unit, but we're dealing with the same set of challenges. Yes, sir.
Further, just for clarity, the cap actually, it's not the cap isn't just confined to the property boundaries. The property boundaries were created after the cap was put in place. So we're confident the cap's in that area as well. So it's not only off of the property that we own, but it's also in another area that we would have to disturb the cap to put in like a foundation or something to try to.
Yes. In the vicinity of the sedimentation structure, the cap actually does extend further out there. We just don't have enough data to get a solid representative depth for this graphic, but yes, it does.
And just to jump quickly to the end, because obviously this seems kind of doom and gloom to the commission that we've been very limited. We did find something, and we're sort of going through this sort of slowly, but we do have something that we think will improve water quality and hopefully will be some consolation to the commission, but we're obviously very limited, and so that's why we're going through this in great detail.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, so going forward, we looked into utilizing vegetated filter strips as a form of pre-treatment. We're limited here, again, where we can't get access to the landscaped area to modify it and implement something like this. We also have closed system drainage, so there's not really an opportunity to do any sort of runoff.
And one other thing to add is that Massport's, obviously Massport is part of a consortium managing this, but the consortium, so to speak, which is like MBTA, MassDOT, and Massport, we're under very strict written agreements with EPA to maintain the site as it was agreed upon. So a lot of the surface design changes wouldn't really be feasible without renegotiating all those agreements, which could have the same sort of implications. So that's another reason. Sorry, go ahead.
Mm-hmm. We looked into filtering bioretention area as a form of stormwater treatment. I think this was something that we kind of discussed at the last hearing as sort of an alternative retrofit or adjacent structure to the sedimentation structure. We're obviously limited in that, both in vertical and just due to access limitations. All that being said, though, however, we looked into catch basin inserts as a form of additional filtering for our structures that could more or less operate in the same way that a deep sump structure would. These are feasible for this project. They don't have any interference with the cap, no remodeling for our structures. and they provide effective pretreatment.
So this would essentially enhance filtration on the site, which we believe would have an improvement to stormwater quality, which we're hoping is responsive to the commission's requests as of our last meeting.
This slide is just a general overview of what we're envisioning for the on-site structures. I believe there's 36 catch basins on site. I think 34 of which actually convey runoff to the sedimentation structure. So these just provide physical screening of the pollutants in the runoff, and they're available in various sizes and configurations. And a nifty feature as well is a common concern is as these collect debris and sedimentation, there's a concern of them clogging, but depending on the model used, they have bypass flow features, so the system can continue to function until it's able to be maintained. So in summary, I think this was the most fitting option for this project to provide.
Well, it was really the only option. Obviously it's the most fitting because we weren't really able to find anything else.
You said there were 34 catch basins?
6 total.
Sorry?
There was, I believe, 36
How many total
I think
catch
there's
basins?
36 total.
Yeah, we would plan on installing them in all the catch basins on site.
Okay, the maintenance of them?
We would be doing the maintenance of them as well over time.
Mr. Chairman, if I could, is there a suggested maintenance schedule for that? Like, does the manufacturer have a,
So I don't think we've
Recommended.
finalized the exact manufacturer. As we indicated, we're going to have to retrofit them into the catch basins. So we're going to have to evaluate a number of different units. But obviously, we would follow the manufacturer's recommendations for
all right,
for
and would
maintenance.
you be able to submit, once you know which manufacturer, would you be able to submit the manufacturer's recommended maintenance
We could submit
to
that
the
at a later
commission?
date.
Thank you.
I would,
I don't know how the rest of the commission feels, but I think this is an improvement. We've got now 36 filters cleaning water that we don't have right now. And that was my main concern back in June or whenever it was, that anytime we do a redevelopment or some type of project like this, we're looking to improve water quality. And in my mind, 36 filters is certainly going to do some of that cleaning the water. So I appreciate, number one, you agreeing to giving yourselves this much time to come up with some type of alternative. And I'm pleased what I'm hearing. So with that stated, I'll turn it over to the commission. Any questions or comments?
I also am happy to see something that they did come up with, so I'm good as long as, like we said, a maintenance plan, and that gets followed, so that's.
Of course.
Yeah, we'd accept a condition that we would need to submit that maintenance plan to the Conservation Commission pre-construction.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, I'd like to thank you too, because I know we asked the last one if you could just do some digging and see if there was any feasibility, if anything, and you did that and you provided that, and I really appreciate the work that the due diligence that you put in for it. And I do echo Chairman's statements that this is an improvement. I appreciate the work that you're putting in, and I know it's not easy because I was, I know you're already got some strict guidelines to go by, and any deviation in the system is going to require a lot of other approvals going up the chain. I didn't want to see that, but I think this is a happy medium for me anyway, so I do appreciate it. Thank you.
yeah, I would echo that. Appreciate the effort that you put in, and I'm just curious, so there's an overflow bypass. So if these units aren't maintained properly. It's just, you know, you're gonna have gonna have some sediment that's been collected, and then from there on out, if they're not maintained, it's gonna basically end up kind of how it does today, right? Hopefully I think that there's gonna be pretty intense maintenance required. Like, I think it's gonna be probably more than 4 times, it might even maybe 4 to 6 times a year. I don't know what it is. Today, there's none, because as far as the catch basins go, because really nothing stays in those catch basins, right? So I do appreciate it. I also spoke with Joel LeMay at EPA, who kind of echoed what you're saying as far as your restrictions. He was pretty satisfied that what is there now is basically all that could be there. He did say, obviously, it's up to us. You know, we could make you put in sumps, but we don't want to. I don't want to do that. I think it's way too much to expect. You know, as far as from a dollar standpoint, it would just be crazy to ask you to do that. So, again, I'm really pleased with the effort that you put in to try to find something. Hopefully, again, I think it all depends on the maintenance. If the maintenance is perfect, then this will be great. You know, there'll be obviously less sediment making it down to the basin, so the basin will be able to hold more water. So again, thank you for the time you put in, and appreciate it.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you very much.
Anybody else from the commission?
Yeah, just a quick comment. So I want to echo everything that my fellow commissioners have said, and I really appreciate the presentation. And the fact that you did the due diligence and went back and did the feasibility study, but to couple that with the graphic on actually looking at the entire parcel with the cap in place and understanding what those depth limitations are, for me, was eye-opening. So I appreciate that very much. And I'm really glad that you did find a solution at the end that seems to be acceptable to everyone. So thank you.
Well, we wanted to make sure you had the information that you needed, Commissioner.
This is a public hearing. If there's anybody in the audience that would like to speak on the matter. Hearing none, I'll bring it back to the commission. Any last comments or questions? Hearing none, is it your request that we close the public hearing?
Yes, sir.
Chairman, I move that we.
I'm sorry, before the motion, I just wanted to ask also if you would consent, as you may have heard in the earlier hearings, the next meeting of the Conservation Commission is beyond the 21 days to act. Would you consent to giving the commission additional time to issue an order of conditions?
Could you explain what that means?
Okay, so under ordinary circumstances, the commission has to issue an order of conditions within 21 days of the close of the public hearing.
Mm-hmm.
The next meeting of the commission is not 21 days from now, it's a week later than that. So what I'm asking is if you could consent to granting the commission additional time?
Would we have to return for that meeting?
No.
No.
Oh, I see.
No, it's just granting the commission more time to act.
We're okay with that. Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we close the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your
Thanks
time.
for the teamwork and coming up with at least a solution that we can all live with.
Thank you.
All right, moving on. We have a delay of opening the Jacob Development LLC, Locust 28 Van Norden Road, notice of intent, DP number 348-0884 for a single house to September 25th, 2025.
And Mr. Chairman, just very late this afternoon, although we did originally receive the request to delay it until September 25th, we did receive a follow-up request wanting to amend the first request. So they would like to actually continue it to the meeting of August 21st instead. I did explain to them that, or our office explained to them, that we had already posted on the agenda that it would be continued to September 25th. So they agreed that if the commission were amenable to moving it instead to August 21st, that they would re-notify abutters, and there would be another legal notice in the newspaper. So with that, I defer to the commission.
Chairman, I would move that we reschedule the opening of the public hearing at the applicant's request to August 21st, providing that abutters are notified and the legal notice is paid for.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Terrific. Next on the agenda, business items. We have the minutes of June 26, 2025. And I made any comments? Any corrections, additions, amending?
Chairman, I move to accept the meeting minutes of June 26, 2025 as drafted.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? We also have the minutes of July 15th, 2025. This was the special meeting that we had for Bedford Road. I did not have any comments. Anybody else have any amendments or deletions, additions?
Chairman, I move to accept the meeting minutes of July 15th, 2025 as drafted.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
One abstention.
Next, we have a request for permission to allow tree removal at 32 Auburn Street. Was this part of the site walk?
Was a
Yes.
sidewalk,
It was,
yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what did we discover? Anything?
Discovered no issues, so I would move that we allow for the removal of 5 trees and the pruning of another 2 trees that are marked in the field.
Second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? And we have again a permission request to allow tree removal within area subject to conservation restriction at 1 Cow Forest Lane. Was there a site walk for this?
Not yet.
Not yet.
I've actually been in touch with the homeowner. I was out to the site, took a look. I mean, I don't, the only issue I would have is it a problem? Are they allowed to remove trees in the restriction? I didn't see the restriction itself, so I don't think the trees are doing anything to make the area better, really. Pretty much what's happening to the trees right now is that they're covered in invasive species, so they're
They're all choked out.
kind of choked out, and they are definitely in decline. But I actually, if anybody else wants to go out, I did say that I could meet her on site tomorrow at like 9:15, if anybody can do that.
I think it would be good for the commission to go out, because I have not reviewed the conservation restriction language, but generally speaking, it doesn't allow cutting of trees, except with the approval of the commission. So I think that one actually would take a vote of the commission. So I would encourage, if members are able to go out and take a look at it, and then could vote at the next meeting.
I can do 9:15 tomorrow.
I can do 9:15 tomorrow. I can't.
Yeah, I can't do 9:15. I could do 10 o'clock. But 9:15, I've got an appointment.
Okay? I can't do 10, but I mean, I think
30?
what time?
9:30?
Do 9:30 if I'm there, if we're there for
I can
15 minutes.
I can go out there. I can go out there on my own.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I might go on my own as well.
Will they be okay with just individually going out there?
It's right in the
taking
front of
a-
the driveway, it looks like, right?
Pretty much right.
You can see it from the street, right?
Can.
Okay.
I just wanted to get onto the property and take a better look, but I don't think I'm gonna see anything too
I
different than
mean,
what
it
I
looks,
saw.
it looks like there's lots of tree line and lots of shrubs, and it does look like a lot of invasive.
That's mainly what it is, yes.
The tree the two that they want to take down, the one on the left in one of the pictures does look dead at the top, I'm assuming that.
It is dead at the
that's
top,
what you
yes.
saw.
Yep.
Then I'll do my best to get there, maybe tomorrow after work.
So we'll, I guess we'll get out to take a look at it and vote on it at our next meeting.
Next meeting?
So it's
Are they-
9:30? Jerry and Steve and I will go tomorrow at 9:15.
9:15
or 9:30. What is it?
Jim, do you want to go at 9:30? Or do you just,
Yeah, I should be all set with my appointment by 9:30. I should be able to get out there. But if it's more convenient, I can go at my own, I
Yeah,
can
let's-
go on my own.
let's do it, let's do it at 9:15, and then, again, it
That's
should be
fine.
pretty obvious
All
to
right.
you. Thank you.
9:15.
Teresa, or anything else that we should be taking a look at?
The only other thing we did receive today, message from Public Works that they had a request to cut brush or trim brush at Ice House Park so that kids could fish there properly, is the way it's worded. So I would say if the commission, it is conservation land, and if the commission wanted to do a site visit and go out and look and see if there is in fact a need to cut brush, that's fine. One of the things that has been an issue out there is if the brush is cut too far down and you can have an open view to the water, is we end up with a Canada geese problem. So I have not yet responded to Public Works about the request, but I think I would be interested in hearing what the commission says, or if the commission would like to go out and take a look at it and provide some feedback after that, that's fine.
I would love to go out and take, I think there's a lot of fishing spots for people,
Other spots.
other spots.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'd be curious to know, where these spots are that are so perfect for fishing that you need to cut brush. So I would love to get out and,
I think it'd be very
See what-
worthwhile for us
Yeah.
to go out there. So I'll just tell you, as one of the people who pull all the fishing line out of the trees, I can tell you that Ice House Park is one of the major offenders for all of that. And not that there's not enough fishing spots out there, but there are some spots where there are fishing spots that have some pretty significant overhang, so it is pretty easy for someone to get an errant cast and it goes right up into a tree, an overhanging branch. So I'd like to go out there, and I'm hoping that someone from the DPW is gonna go out there with us to take a walk out there, but I'd like to go out, we can go out there and take a peek. I think it'd be well worthwhile. There's a lot of brush out there. I wouldn't want to cut all the brush, that's for sure, because it does dissuade the geese from coming up. It also dissuades people from going down and creating all these other fishing spots. So, but I think what's there right now would be well worthwhile to take a look at.
so will we reach out to,
I think you should schedule a site visit first, and then
oh, okay.
depending on what
Mm-hmm.
and then depending on what direction the commission wants to go in, then we can have you meet DPW. But it may be that you go out there and say, we don't think it should be cut. And so I think maybe the commission should go out first and take a look. What do you guys think?
I'm available Friday, Saturday, and then probably not for a while after that.
Tomorrow we could go down and hang out for the concert.
There you go.
That'd be good.
Tomorrow is Friday,
Yeah. The morning's tough for me tomorrow, but I'm available next week, Wednesday or whatever. I could look at it. I'm pretty familiar with it.
I can
I'm
go
only-
tomorrow, I can
I'm
go
only
Saturday.
Tomorrow, so
Well,
I'll be out of state.
I guess we can all individually, Jim, maybe you and I can, and Steve,
Want to go out?
After,
put something together and.
I mean, after Cal Forest, you can just go right there. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm available tomorrow, and Saturday, I don't think I'm doing much.
Okay,
So
maybe Saturday.
maybe Saturday morning.
Saturday.
Oh, it's Saturday. I'm around Sunday.
Uh-oh.
If you do Saturday morning and you come up with a time, text me, and if I am still in town and I haven't left yet, I could maybe join you, but there's not much of a window.
Well, why don't we tentatively schedule something for Saturday morning and at 9? And,
In Ice House Park,
John, can you make it?
I should be able to
Oh,
do 9
okay.
o'clock on Saturday, yeah.
And everybody else, I guess, can, if they,
Down there on my own.
get down their own, yeah.
I'm gonna try and do Saturday at 9.
Saturday at 9.
If I haven't left, I will be there.
Okay.
Anything else before the commission?
So not a site walk, but there is some proposed legislation going through the Massachusetts Senate right now. It is, short name for it is the Mass Ready Act. It's a huge bond bill. It's about 90 pages long. Does a lot of things. It gets into housing. It gets into farming, climate resilience. I know I'm going to miss something by doing this, but there's a lot of aspects of it. But one of the things, it does make some significant changes to the Wetlands Protection Act. The way that it is currently drafted, it is drafted as emergency legislation because it's a bond bill. But what that means is that if it is passed, it goes into effect immediately upon passage, so, or upon the governor's signature. So that means that there would be potentially changes to the Wetlands Protection Act regulations without a lot of time or any time for DEP to do corresponding regulations or training or anything else or guidance from the state. So if members are able to take a look at that legislation and would like to make comments, the comment period closes on Tuesday. So it's not a lot of time. Even if the comment is, we'd love to comment, but we don't have enough time. The Massachusetts Association of Conservation Commissions is preparing, as we speak, comments. I don't think those are going to be ready until Monday. If they are ready, I will forward them out to the commission members or link to them. If commission members like what MACC said, you can also submit a comment that says, I fully support the comments of MACC. I think MSNCP, another organization for conservation professionals, may also be doing comments, and if they do, and I have them before the deadline, I'll get them out to commission members as well. I'm looking at trying to draft up something. I could not draft up something fast enough for tonight's meeting because it's really comprehensive. But I do think it is significant legislation, and I just wanted the commission to be aware of it. And again, if you're able to comment in any way, great. If you go onto the maccweb.org website, I think there'll be some information posted there, so you can take a look at that. The state's website, I think, also may have a section where there's a summary of this. So anyway, I just wanted to make sure it's on everybody's radar.
Appreciate that.
I know that they ran a webinar on it. I don't know if they ran it once or twice.
Two different ones.
Two different ones.
Yes, one was today. It was a little bit over an hour, perhaps, and then there was one a week ago that was also about an hour long. I did listen to both of those.
I think the one that was a week ago, I think that's available.
They may be.
recording.
They may be available
Okay.
through maccweb.org, their website. I know that they did also testify. I watched the hearing, 5.5 hours of a hearing. The very end of that hearing was the wetland groups that commented. MACC excerpted their 3 minutes out and posted that as well, I believe. So you can see that, which is a good indication of kind of what it is in the wetland aspect. I think there's a lot of really good things in the bill, but there's a lot of different things in the bill. So it's a lot to kind of stuff into an emergency legislation. And I really would welcome the opportunity to have more comment, but it's just not a lot of time to review.
Anything else? With apologies, I have a couple of quick items, if I could take a couple of minutes. First one, I'm going to walk and talk in the interest of time, and we're over my over-under, so. The first thing is, down at Community Gardens, there's a gentleman by the name of D'Souza, he kept 9 land with D'Souza, he pulled a big, huge tire out of the pond with him, and that picture taken, if you could pass that around, Renee. And what he does is he had that grab trap, if you remember, and he gets the Barbie dolls, the Bud, the McDonald's wrappers and everything, and he captures all the stuff, and what he does is he makes art out of it. So I want to show everyone the picture of the art that he's got down the gardens, where he's got the shovel handle as the head, he's got a horseshoe for a mouth, he's got a rake for fingers, and he's quite a character. And he's going to be issuing a report. His report is going to have statistics. And the statistics are going to say, at Shaker Glen, I found this many Bud bottles, I found this many Bud cans, I found this many McDonald's wrappers. He's going to say the same down the pond and what? It's going to give stats and a full report of what he's found and what he's doing and how effective it is. We're going to get a copy of that report. And I will share it when we get the copy of the report. I am very, very interested in the results of what he's done in the improvement. And I'm cooking up in the back of my mind, I'm just mentioning it here just to mention it. But this gentleman deserves some recognition. I mean, what he's doing is just phenomenal. I just can't believe that one individual can take a passion on something like this and have such a great impact that he's got something special needs to be done for this gentleman. But we'll get the report, we'll take it a step at a time, and that's quite a thing. In fact, next week, I'm taking my grandchildren down here so that they can see this, because I seen the picture today, so they're all about it, so this is the thing. So the second thing, we will go to the site visit tomorrow morning and everything like that. If we do have time, it's the see something, say something thing. I'd like to take a ride up to Robinson Road. I just want to take it right to the top. Let's see what we see, and then let's see what we do. So I just want other people to see it. Let's observe. Is a potential encroachment. If there is, we'll deal with it. But I did go up to Robinson Road across the street because I took a picture of the sign and the granite post and what like that, so I have an example of what the granite post is, what the sign says. I measured the post. I went to Martinetti's. I now know what the stats are on it, how much it costs. It's 7 by 7. It's how many feet high, how many feet down does it go, how did they put the screws in there into the granite and all. So I'm getting a better sense of the concrete. So I wanted to let you know I've done that. The other thing, just FYI only, is on the gardens. There is an encroachment on Lexington Street. The gardens met with Attorney Salvati today. There are wheels in motion to correct that. It is not corrected. There is still vehicles encroaching on our property now. That will be corrected, and at the proper time, when all the details are ready, we'll see what it's conservation land. It does matter to us, so we'll get the final plan of what this is going to solve the encroachment. Will be the first step, right? And then after that, there's a potential of a zoning violation, as we know. The owner of that matter is the head of the building department. What's the title? What's his exact title? Director of the building?
Building inspector?
Inspector? Well, whoever runs the building department's in charge. So that group with Attorney Salvati will handle the zoning. We're just trying to handle, for our matter, that we have an encroachment, the encroachment's been solved, that'll calm the things down at the gardens, and we'll know that the vehicles have been off it. So it's not done yet, and it's getting closer. That's all I can say for now. To the other things, the gardens, it's just an update on the gardens. They're trying to figure out how to solve general parking and permit parking only, and the parking spots that are in front of where the porta potty is and where the shed is down the end, the mixed parking that goes on down there. We've only got 6 or 7 parking spots available for 100 gardeners and all that. They're trying to solve that signage-wise and methodology-wise. So that's being worked on, and Attorney Silvati is helping with that matter as well.
Do they currently have parking passes for gardeners? Like,
They
is
absolutely
something
have
that you-
parking passes,
something
and
that-
they hang them on their rearview
Okay,
mirrors.
okay.
And I will tell you, I get out of the gardens quite often now. That's my new route, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I go down there, there are non-permit parking vehicles there. Most of the time, it's 2 or 3 out of the spots are people that aren't gardeners. Every time, there's at least 1. So it is a problem. The gardeners complain about it. They only have 5 or 6 parking spots to begin with, and you've got 100 gardeners.
Interesting.
Easy fix.
That'll
It's
be,
got to be fixed, and so alternatives are being pursued on that, so I just want to keep everybody in the loop.
thanks.
Thanks for picking up the garden issues.
There you go. There you go. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. And I discovered down there when I was looking at the parking passes, this clear gentleman, Kevin, that you and I met, he's very proud of that picture, I want to tell you. He says he's got that saved. It's one of his proudest pictures.
I want to get a picture of it.
Yeah, there you go.
That's good, though, right?
Yep.
That's all. I see.
All right, that'll be it.
That shovel picture in the same place where you had all that?
My updates.
Anybody else?
Is that picture the same place where you had stuff on the wall?
Well, hearing none, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?